Yo, how was your Thanksgiving? Well, mine's alright, I had to. I really just wanted some pumpkin pie. Oh, where are you traveling? You trying to bring that big old thing? Ah, you know what? Never mind. At least that's some carry-on baggage, right? Alright, see you soon.
It's easy to boast about the beloved, pastel hues and golden zippers of a bag you do not wish to open. Know that the contemplations and complications within your confinement give you the opportunity to glorify the contents of your own baggage. Carry this bag as you were to carry yourself, with pride, respect, to hold everything that is precious to you, not only to protect it from the world, but to show the world exactly who you are. All right. Happy episode 6, friends. This one is a little short and simple. I wanted to bring back an oldie but a goodie. Um, this is a poem that I wrote probably I would say beginning of this year. Um, beginning of this year when I started painting bags. Um, and so kind of running it back, this is released on the 28th, and so a couple days after Thanksgiving. Um and so I guess I've been in this mode of reflection. Um I think during this time of the year, personally anyway, I tend to dive really deep into thoughts, into further action, into goal setting, into you know, into all these things where it's like I start to begin to think of what am I carrying into the next year. Um, you know, many people have this seasonal depression during this time. But I think the seasonal depression, one of the main parts to some people is feeling like you haven't done enough this year, or feeling like you haven't met your resolutions that you set out to have this year. Um, I'm gonna dive a little bit into the baggage first, with the poem before I talk about that aspect. But so I started painting bags, you know, probably a little less than a year now. Um, and painting the bags it was always a fun thing to do. A little backstory on like my bags. Um, I kind of shared the cultural part of bags before, where a lot of Filipino aunties and Filipino grandmas, they love bags, and so not only was it a cultural type of type of experience for me anyway, but it's also the aspect of really talking about baggage. And I know a lot of you ladies out there love the bags that I paint. Um, and I will say that I have bared witness to many a baggage. Um, I, Growing up when I was in middle school, I think in middle school I began to have more female friends than male friends. Going on into even into high school and college, a lot of my really close relationship with people, and a lot of my really good friends were girls. And like I love them to death. Homegirls, if you're listening to this, I love and appreciate you. And so like I wanted to make items for for that part because I feel like as a dude, I talked about this concept of masculine and feminine energy before. Um, Me really getting in touch with that aspect. Um, Baggage is something that I grew up to understand is really bad. The connotation behind baggage is horrible. Um, I think when people start to talk about baggage, they say, "Oh, like he, she, they have too much baggage to do this." And so on and so forth. Which is true. I believe that when you carry too many things with you, um, metaphorically, you carry too many things with you, things get too heavy, you can't move on. Yes, metaphorically and figuratively and literally, this is true. Um, However, I started to think of, okay, what would it take, or how should we look at baggage in a different light that makes it positive? Um, then I started to think of, okay, the only way to either feel comfortable or move with your baggage that you carry is A, get rid of shit, or B, ask someone for help. Um, and when I say ask someone for help, right? The first point is really simple. Getting rid of shit is like you just fucking throw it out of the window. You get over it. You move on. You forget about it. You forgive it. You accept it. Easy. First part, well, somewhat easy, I guess. The second part, asking for help. Now, that is the aspect of not only asking people to help you carry your baggage, but also willingly showing people what's in your bag in the first place. Um, because I think that's the thing. We don't want people to handle our baggage because we don't want people to see it. And the thing is, people that are willing to help you, people that are willing to love you, people that are willing to be there for you will be okay with what you're carrying, you know? Um and so as much as it's one thing to throw out baggage, sometimes that's hard. It's there's some things that are embedded in our brain, in our psychology, that make it very difficult to let go of certain baggage. And there's some baggage that is good baggage. The traumatic baggage, there's many things that are hard to let go. And either that will come in time, that'll come with constant remedy, or it will just always be there. Who knows? Um, Everybody's baggage is different. Um, but learning to live with the baggage you carry is not horrible. As much as the connotation says it's bad, there's so many good baggage that you can carry, you know? I think some types of good baggage is like even positive memories. Positive memories of people, of events, of opportunities. Um those types of baggage are really good to have, and they define who you are and how you operate on the daily. And that baggage could be the reason why you get inspired by XYZ, or the reason why you get up in the morning and do this, or the reason why you even dream of the dreams you have in the first place. you know um and so there's different types of baggage that we forget. It's easy to forget the good stuff. That's plain and simple. People like to fixate on the negativity because it doesn't feel good. you know, we fixate on the things that don't feel good when we should try our best to fixate on things that feel good. Um, and so, growing up, listening to a lot of different baggage from different people, I heard it all. You know what I'm saying? Like, I heard it all in like I remember in middle school, um, people adopted me the name uh, Love Doctor. It was really awful. it was People gave me the name Love Doctor, but I think it was literally because I just listened and absorbed information, and just said things that like only made sense to me as people. Sitting here in middle school, people calling me the Love Doctor. Never had a girlfriend in my life. Wasn't even thinking about having a relationship ever. And I think it was just me sitting down with girls usually. They're telling me about their boyfriends at the time, and they're letting their heart out and wearing their heart out on their strings, their sleeves, and pouring their baggage out for me. And the advice that I elicited was how to handle people. you know um but that's just it. Like, the more and more you hear about people's baggage, and the more and more you're empathetic towards that. What's interesting is that I believe that the more stories you hear, the more exposure you get to baggage, the more you become accepting of a lot of different things, which is good and bad. Okay, I'll tell you. I'm gonna put that out there first, because I live a really weird, interesting life situation where people I become very understanding of people's situations, and it makes it easy to relate to people. Which is good and bad. um, Good in a sense where in relationships and friendships that I want to keep, right? And put the energy to keep. Um, I am very, very comprehensive of situations. And I am very, very intuitive with my advice that I give. Um, the more and more you see situations, like, don't get me wrong, I don't know everything, but the more and more you see different scenarios, the more and more you can imagine different scenarios for other people. Um, that's like the idea of the more cards that you see in your hand in a card game, and the more you understand the game itself, or like the actual scenarios and the actual cards there, then you understand more on how to play it right, right? Um, the other part that is bad, anyway, this is the baggage that I carry, is that I personally get very overwhelmed. I get very overwhelmed and overstimulated when there's too many people asking me for things or to listen at the same time. Um, the other part of me, as an empathetic person, is that when I share that energy with people, regardless if they're strangers or friends, I have to spend equal amount of time scrubbing those feelings off of my own. And what I mean about that is this is basically the confessions of a struggling empath. Welcome to the new title, the struggles of a overwhelmed empath that just, anyway, sorry. Um what that means is, when I take energy, right? I'm gonna use energy as the concept here. As I take energy in from people, from conversations, the energy latches onto my own existing energy, right? Like, if we all have energy orbs inside of our bodies, when I open up kind of like the gates, to listen, to help someone, to whatever, I am taking in and absorbing the energy and basically slapping it on my own energy orb. Um, and if I don't do diligence and let me have time to scrub that energy off of my own orb, then I become very shrouded with other people's and the world's feelings. Um, and so that's kind of the bad part of it for me, anyway. This is why at many times I hold a very large amount of anxiety. I'm literally gonna unpack baggage with you right now. Um, I carry a large amount of anxiety with me. Um, for certain situations. I would say that I get overwhelmed a lot in I have very extroverted energy, okay? Like me, I gather energy from the world. Not to say that like I hate every single energy blip that like latches onto me. A lot of my own energy comes from the energy of the world, so I obviously suck I suck the energy as much as I let it latch onto me. Um but I get really overwhelmed sometimes. Um let's see, large crowds overwhelm me sometimes. Um new places overwhelm me sometimes. Things with like lots of stuff that I like overwhelm me sometimes. Like you know like in it when kids go into candy stores and they get really fucking excited, or like they go into toy stores and they literally don't fucking know what to do with themselves because there's so many things around them that are just immensely beautiful and exciting and you want to try them all. That's literally me. In new places that are super cool, in new creative spaces, in new groups of creative people, I get so overwhelmed that I just don't want to fucking talk to anybody. um, I don't want to talk to anybody, and I just want to fucking go outside and mind my own business and just let it like soak in. Um, and so a lot of the time, um, I do this thing like called, I guess I'll refer it to soaking. In situations where it's overwhelming, I'll just let it soak into my body, and even in like in the line of events and things, usually the true feelings of everything don't settle in within me until like a couple days after. Very slow in that aspect. I'm very slow. So sometimes the initial feelings that I feel in that moment are usually not the feelings of my own, and so I'll figure out what my own feelings are 2 days later when I scrub it all off. um, and it's tough, because the in terms of first impressions and first experiences with me, um, like you're gonna meet this certain energy person when you meet me. And probably a couple days later, I could be a different energy being, like 2 days later, and that's probably the more authentic me than when you met me at the party, or when you met me at the networking event, or when you met me at the gallery show. You meet me 2 days later in like a one-on-one setting. I am just super laid back and super chill, and I'm very just like I'm talking right now, very um analytical, very responsive, and very articulate with what I want to say. Um and that's just one of the things that I carry with myself, right? Um and so what we're talking about baggage. I guess my final note on baggage before I talk about the next coming year and years to come. I want to say yes. Be be open with your baggage, you know? Sit with yourself. Let me metaphorically and literally sit with yourself, open your bag, look what you have inside. Tell me which is good and tell me which is bad. And how much are you willing to actually share with the world? Because sharing what you have with the world filters out the people that actually do not mind seeing what you carry. Having relationships with people, not just romantic, but also friendships and networking, part of it comes from being open about the baggage you carry and what you wear out into the world. So, have pride in what you have. What you have is a privilege, what you have is a blessing, and what you have is you. And be proud of that. Um, I know that we were talking about thinking and reflecting because of Thanksgiving. Um, and let's talk about that for a second. Um, I will share that many years ago, um, when I was in the beginning of my mental health strife and battle and conquest, um, many years in a row, my New Year's resolution was to have less anxiety attacks each year. And for 3 years straight, I basically cataloged every single panic attack that I had for the entire year. The first year went from, I believe it was 45 panic attacks, which is not entirely horrible. 45 panic attacks to the year after, which is about 23. The year after that was 6. um, and that's the resolution part of the year. I was saying in the beginning that November, December, around this time when the year is about to close, people get very reflective on the baggage that they're carrying into the next year. Um, and whatever you're carrying into the next year, make sure you're willing to carry it. Um, I think for me, something that I definitely am not happy with moving like from here and moving into the next year is that I still carry a large amount of anxiety with me at the moment. Um this year was for me was about reclaiming the energy I used to have. Um I'll talk about this at some other point, but 2020 did mess me up a good amount, and it took away a lot of aspects of myself that I miss, and it gave me more aspects of introversion, introspection, and anxiety. And so the amount of anxiety that has increased within the last 2 years are immense. I felt really bad because I felt like I was moving backwards. You know, in the beginning of the year, I felt really bad, and I like disliked the fact that I felt like I was backtracking my life years ago because I had my first panic attack earlier this year for the first time in a long time, and I like lost my shit, because I was like, oh my fucking god, I haven't felt this in like a year or two. What the actual fuck, you know? And so my pride in the moment was like, "Geez, Louise, I actually just the strategies that I developed over the years to handle my anxiety are not working right now. So what do I do and what am I doing wrong, you know?" And so as the year comes to a close, I am very accepting of it's getting better, recognizing that it's getting better. Recognizing that recognizing that I am trying my best. Recognizing that I'm trying my best right now. I think this year was the year where I stopped giving myself so much of a hard time. Um because I felt very hard on myself this year more than anything else. Within the last couple of years, I definitely was more hard on myself in every aspect of creativity, in motivation, in results, in money, um, in in intelligence, in just in everything. I was giving myself a lot of shit because like I was reflecting a lot in the beginning of the year, and I was like, this is not the content I want to pump out. This is not the vibe of paintings I want to do. This is not like I'm not happy with where my art is going, and I'm not happy with the money I'm making, and I'm not, and part of it was like in the beginning of the year I was beating myself a lot. I was beating myself up a lot. Um and as much as it's like even now where we stand in this moment in November, like moving into December, I am I am more in the hole than I was in the beginning of the year, but I'm giving myself less shit for it. you know? Um because right now I'm trying to pivot. I'm trying to pivot my way of thinking about art, and I'm trying to pivot the purpose in my creativity. Um and I can't and I shouldn't be giving myself so much of a hard time while I'm in transition of those ideas. Um because yeah, like I guess this is the podcast where I talk about it. Doing art is not as exciting as it used to be for me. Um as much as seeing and doing certain things are really fun, um a lot of my art is so purposeful and so personal that I've been consistently contemplating, what do I say to the world? Um, you know, I have so much to say about a lot of things, but how much do I really say is the thing, right? I was beating myself a lot for not developing content that I wanted in terms of quality and just overall like concepts. But it just wasn't the content that I wanted to put out there, because part of it was I'm willing to share some things but not everything. Um and the more and more that I did art, it was it was more purposeful. Like the purpose was to make me feel better, you know? Um was to make me feel better. And painting and selling art, which I've been doing for a long time, there's many times where you create art for other people and not yourself. Um, and I've been doing that a lot. I've been creating for other people for a long time, and it just wasn't doing justice for myself anymore, because I wasn't creating anything um that made me feel fulfilled. That brought me happiness. I was worrying too much about how it looked like on Instagram. I'm worrying about too much about um maybe this story doesn't resonate with somebody. Maybe I need to choose a different story. Like it matters, right? Like it doesn't matter. Um but I guess going into next year, I'm trying to hold the aspect of not giving myself such a hard time attitude. Um because yes, I don't I already have anxiety. Why would I try to give myself more anxiety, you know? Um so we eliminate the situation where it's anxiety building. don't don't do that, don't do that. If you know it's bad for you, don't do that. you know if you know if you know certain things are going to escalate situations to a degree that is not good for you, then don't do it. Crazy. Like um and so I guess that's kind of the baggage that I'm carrying into the next year. um I really want all of you to not only enjoy this holiday season. This is a holiday season where we get to actually spend time with our family to a certain degree. The world is not completely shut down to the point where we can't go outside and we're fearful of the feet and the roads and the air that we breathe. I want you guys to enjoy your holiday season and be thankful for all that you have, your privilege, your material aspects, your breath, your family, your loved ones, your opportunity, your smile, and your sense of being. Um, I want you to be thankful for those things, and I want you to be thankful of also your baggage. Think about your baggage. What are you gonna carry into the next year? How much are you bringing on that next airplane? You know, international travels be opened up. Well, what are you bringing on the plane? You know, what are you bringing on into 2022? Um, but anyway, guys, I think that closes it out for me. Thank you guys so much for another beautiful podcast. Thank you so much for supporting um, Memos of a Low Key Poet. I'm gonna be trying my best. You know, I have it's official. I have my first museum exhibition coming January 7th. So I'm gonna be running a lot of things. It's actually gonna be more of a poetry show and more of a writing show than a painting show. And so I'm super excited to showcase not only the poems that I've been sharing with you guys, but more and more writing that highlight my life and what I'm feeling and how that is more expressive to me than painting certain things. But anyway, guys, take it easy. Have a good one. And wherever you are in this goddamn world that we live in, always remember to stay awesome and stay beautiful and stay safe out there. Catch you guys in 2 weeks. Peace.